I use the word hubris that is not well considered nowadays. Well, hubris could be bad, but could be good too. Hubris, it's also hybridity. The fact that you take the chance to meet someone that is not like you, even ethnically, even his language and everything. That's the reason why it's hybridation, you know? And hybridity is also the fact, hubris, that you go beyond your own prejudice, you go beyond everything, and it does also ebriété. In French, it does ebriété, like the fact that you feel that, yeah, you can go beyond also the convention, the rules and everything.
For
and
writing poetry, that may be a good state. Yeah.
Exactly, that's the reason why they say in vino veritas.
Right, well, I didn't drink alcohol to get mathematical ideas, but one has to, I don't know, there's no formula for it. You try to feel the ideas,
yeah,
and let them express themselves.
Yeah, it's the difference between, again, if we come back to Bergson, between what he called intellectuality on one side, what you can to grasp, and intuition on the other side.
Right.
And so
creating new mathematics is pure intuition. Exactly. It's not rational.
So that's interesting.
It's madness.
So that means
that works.
You know, when you have an idea,
yes,
you have an intuition. So you know something, like it's a knowledge. You know, you're sure of that, but you're still unable to demonstrate it.
It doesn't always work. I mean, sometimes one wakes up in the morning with new ideas and they don't all pan out, right? Then you need to sort of...
You need to come back intellectually.
You need to, yes.
It's what he called...
To see if it works.
He said intellectuality, Bergson, is always like if you were turning to come back in the past. So you come back in the past and you try to understand what the path of this intuition, well, in fact, this intuition, it comes from nothing, because the intuition, when you think intellectually, it's because it's something that already existed, that you expanded, or that you describe, you know. But when you have an intuition, the intuition can leave you very quickly because it comes from nothing. It's just something that is beyond.
You have to seize it fast.
Exactly. Otherwise, it disappears.
Yeah, one wakes up with an idea, and if you get distracted with daily life, you lose it. You have to grab it while it's still...
Well, if it is not something interesting, paradoxically, you will not lose it, because if it is not interesting, that means it has its origin in something that already existed. And if it has its origin in something that already existed, you don't lose it, because you are already, it's already there.
But then it's not interesting.
Yeah, but it's already here.
Yeah, well, one worries about losing ideas. You know, one often rushes to write down something on paper because, you know, I wake up sometimes in the middle of a dream and for 30 seconds, I can sort of remember the dream, and then it vanishes mysteriously.
Exactly.
And I can't remember a thing. This is connected. Virginia and I talk about Kuhn, paradigm shift, right? And Kuhn says, I am not a Kuhnian, but I like Kuhn's book, I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's ashamed of it in front of his fellow philosophers, but it speaks to scientists, which is and also Feyerabend, against method.
Of course. Of course, Feyerabend is even, in my opinion, is better than Kuhn.
Yes.
He goes just at the other level.
Definitely.
He scale up.
That's why Kuhn spoke to scientists, because it's more routine, it's closer to scientific practice.
Yeah.
Whereas Feyerabend is more... But the point is that a paradigm shift is irrational.
Sure.
It's not justified based on what you already know. That's why it's a paradigm shift.
It's crazy. Because in fact, pure rationality is crazy. But when you say it's irrational, that just means that you can't put it into something that already exists in a formalized form.
Then it's creative.
Yeah,
then. Irrational means creative.
So, exactly. So there is another question that I have. It's just a question that raised out of Husserl ideas and phenomenological ideas, the way he saw science and everything.
I understand zilch about that topic.
No, you will understand.
You'll
don't
have
worry.
to tell.
Don't worry. Don't worry. My question will be self.
Okay.
Yeah.
Philosophy of mind.
But for Husserl, you don't have pure science, but you don't have pure knowledge, because when you know something, you pretend you know something, For instance, you know something rationally. You think like, yes, you have a certain idea. Right away, what you know is already an intention. It's a perspective that has an intention. It's like when you say that you are making a picture. The picture is not something that is that you see the real thing. You don't see the real thing. You see the perspective you actually chose with your. And so the objective you are doing is you are doing something. You are constructing something.
A mental image which is not the reality.
And it's also, and this mental image is not neutral. Even we could say it's a mental image, it's not reality, but it's not only that. That's Husserl. It is the fact that, for instance, you see a door. The fact that you see it like a door, that means you already have an intention to cross it because you have the idea that there is a corridor. So you never see something pure. The door itself, the way you see it, it's already.
But if it's a beautifully carved Amazigh door, I'm just looking at the.
And there is
door.
If it is a beautiful Amazigh door, you will see it in an artisan way, and you will see also something else because there is always what he called protension. The fact that when you see something, for instance, if I look at you, Gregory Chaitin, I don't see what is the part that is behind your face. I don't see it. But in order to consider your face, I have to presume that it is round also there. Maybe it's not, but I have to presume it. So perception always works that some kind of anticipation. So I anticipate to make something coherent.
You insert me into your theory of how the world is, what people look like.
Even when I see something, I see things that I don't see. At least I need to suppose those things, and it's part of my perception, and I don't distinguish. At the end of the day, I don't even distinguish what I don't see from what I see. And it is like if perception is an intentional process, always. And so science is actually always an intentional process. Just to finish. So in a way, that will mean when we have a rational science, rational ratio, that means divide. That means divide. In a way, we think it's pure knowledge that, like the Cartesian way, when you want to understand something, you divide it into pieces that are smaller, like you divide a problem, you divide everything. But in fact, if you think this way and you think knowledge is the division of things, it's not far from a set of action that will push you to actually divide things that are outside. So that means that rationality, supposed to be pure knowledge, physics and all that, is also the root of a way to divide industrially the world, to become rational in your behavior, to become rational in every way.
Chaplin Modern Times, is that what?
Yes. So you don't perceive things purely.
I had an experience where I perceived things. So can I tell you the story?
Yeah. You think it's possible to perceive things purely without having a perspective on an action?
I think so.
Okay.
I once picked up a piece of cloth in my home when I lived in New York. I once picked up something that was on a chair, and I looked at it, and I saw this amazing object with a metallic sheen and I don't know what. Then I said, what is this? And I said, this has to be the shirt with Magritte, with a pigeon that you see the sky through, that I bought in Blois once. Gallimard or something was making shirts with art on them, Modigliani, Magritte. So I realized what it was, and then all of a sudden the strange metallic sheen and everything disappeared, and it turned into the Magritte painting of black, the outline of a pigeon, and then the sky inside the pigeon, like a window. The pigeon was a window through which you see the sky. So for a moment I saw reality, and then I imposed my ideas on it.
And you closed it.
And
you closed the window.
And it became much less interesting.
You opened the window, and just the moment after you closed the window.
Which was a mistake. If I could have stayed in that moment, I would have maybe sensed, who knows, the entire universe.
So,
But then I would be gone
perceiving the
from this
entire universe,
reality.
that means it's possible to know things without perspectives.
This was a moment like that, yeah.
So you have an anti-phenomenological perspective. I mean, you are because phenomenology, that means everything that you can know is always what you perceive. It's already what says Kant, but except that he added, it's you have an intention. Your perspective
But I had
is
no
already
intention.
an intention.
I had no intention.
You didn't have.
And then I saw something much richer than what the shirt collapsed into being when I realized that I had
But maybe-
left that shirt there the day before, and this is what was on the chair.
Wait a minute. When I'm talking about intention, I'm not talking about
Preconceived notion.
and I'm talking about conscience intention. I mean, it could be unconscious. You could have an intention and not being aware of it. For instance,
But you normally know what to expect. You're moving around your bedroom. You know where things are.
I think it's more. I think it's more.
You don't bump into things because it's a surprise that there's a chair
I think it's
here.
more complicated than that. That's when in fact,
have
intention
this mental map.
is building itself in the process of action itself. So, for instance, you are arriving here. You have the intention to talk with Gregory Chaitin, but when you are here, the perspective is changing, and there is other intention adding, but you didn't have the intention before. That's what describes Husserl. So it's always there is a tension.
Well, I didn't know what you were going to say. Is Picasso's remark that I love relevant? Theories are lies that help us to see the truth? Oh, no, he said art is a lie that helps us to see the truth.
Yeah.
And I like to say theories are lies that help us to see the truth.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's great. That's great. That's great, actually. That means you can use even intellectual knowledge, like even what I call dogma, to open yourself to theology. So for the thing itself. So that
React
means,
against it.
Yeah,
React
to
against the
it.
dogma.
Exactly.